This is Facing South Florida with Jim DeFede.
Welcome to this special one-hour edition of Facing South Florida. I'm Jim DeFede, and with the start of the new school year, we thought it was a good time to sit down with Miami-Dade Superintendent Jose Dotres and Broward Superintendent Peter Licata. Both men are fairly new. Dotres has been on the job for a year and a half, and Licata less than a month. But they are leading two of the largest school districts in the country at a time when many people believe public education is under attack. The culture war battles that Ron DeSantis has waged in Tallahassee over the past 2 years have now worked their way down into the classrooms, leaving many parents and teachers worried and confused. We are going to address those issues directly with the superintendents. We are also going to get a little perspective over the course of the hour from the presidents of the PTAs in Dade and Broward, as well as the teacher union presidents in those two counties. But we begin with the superintendents. We met at Michael Kropp Senior High right on the border between Dade and Broward, and it seemed only appropriate that we have our discussion inside the school's library, since libraries and classrooms have now become political battlefields. Gentlemen, I really appreciate it. Have you guys done an interview like this before, together?
Together, no. First time.
No.
First time.
Do you talk often?
We've spoken a couple of times, but and we're still pending a formal lunch.
Yes.
If we can get our schedule straight.
Yes. But we've communicated on several important matters over the phone and the calls and such, and we're trying to establish that relationship. I'm leaning on his 3 years experience as a superintendent, 2.5, whatever it would be.
1.5.
1.5.
It feels like 3.5.
Yes.
You know, well, I mean, there aren't many people who know what it's like to be in your position and the challenges of it. Can you?
What's important here is that, I mean, and I'm really proud that, you know, he's superintendent now, but we have to see ourselves as just one South Florida, right? Our students crisscross the counties. Our teachers, our employees, they work, you know, in both areas. So our ability to synchronize some of what we do and even some of our own responses just speaks to the unity and the consistency that we should have for the community at large.
Yeah, we'll speak of competitiveness, nature between Broward and Palm Beach and Dade, but we always try and be in sync. We are competing for the same thing, but you know what? Our ultimate goal is making sure that every kid in South Florida, whether it be Palm Beach, Broward, or Miami-Dade, is educated to their best. So we can compete, sort of like a brotherly thing, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to do the best for the kids as a whole. Do
you feel a teacher shortage in Broward?
There's a vacancy of teachers, no positions, but I believe a lot of teachers are not teaching anymore. So there's not a shortage of teachers, they're just not teaching. There's a lot of opportunities out there right now. Teaching is a very difficult profession. It's gotten harder and harder, and as superintendents, both of us will agree, we're going to do everything we can to keep their plate as empty as possible, but it's overrun right now.
You're at about 180 open positions?
Probably about 160 this morning, but as this first week rolls around into school year, it's traditional that all school districts see a drop in teachers who retire.
And in Miami-Dade,
we're larger,
275?
We're larger, but it's about 250 or so.
Yeah.
And of course, every day it changes, and sometimes these vacancies, you have to make sure that they're vacancies not. So when vacancies arise in schools, remember, schools are allocated positions. So not all vacancies will result in full classes that materialize, because it has everything to do with enrollment. So right now we're averaging about 240, 250, but every day we continue to hire.
So I guess the question really becomes, I think, if for parents is, if there are vacancies, if there's teacher shortage, can you guarantee parents that this will not translate into larger classes? That in other words, the result of having fewer teachers or not enough teachers may be that a classroom that should have 20 students in it now has 25 or 30. Can you make that commitment that you'll be able to keep class sizes down even going through this period?
So we went through the budgetary process, and that's one requirement statewide, and also our board is expecting that. No, we have vacancies and we have to be able to fill the vacancies. If we don't have candidates that we externally can hire, we have folks at the district level that every year we end up having to deploy until we can hire a teacher. But no.
And in Broward?
It's same magic sauce, secret sauce. No student will have a non-teacher in front of them when they start school. We talked about it for about an hour this morning. Every classroom will have a teacher in front of it when a child arrives. You can't be a great teacher and not love what you do. You can't fake it. And our teachers that are there in our counties and everywhere, they love what they do. And it can be taxing at times because it's a tiring profession, because they care and they don't want to see any child not succeed. They want to see every child succeed. So
sometimes we have a very narrow view of what a teacher does. And I think we have lost teachers to private industry, because teachers are leaders, they're creative, they're able to motivate, bring people together, create programs, what have you. And some of the private companies are actually providing what I would say more flexible working conditions. They can work from home. I can tell you an example of the other day speaking to a principal. His best teacher, he felt, she was really struggling. Do I stay, do I go? They are attracting them with higher salaries and teaching working conditions that are very flexible to them. So that's a new element that we're not used to in the past.
Mm-hmm. How much of the politics of the classroom now affecting your ability to keep and maintain teachers?
I'm not sure I've heard that. What I'm hearing, though, is that we are demanding as administrators and as an educational system that we meet the needs of every child that walks through the door. And there are so many different learning styles that are there that we just remember the word teacher means you're actually teaching. It's not professor, where you're professing your knowledge. You're actually teaching children. And that's the standard we hold to. When that child walks through the door, we're educating that child based on what they are able to learn and how they learn. It's not just sit in the same row, sit and look and hear the teacher for 60 or 55 minutes. Teachers have to be very accustomed to every child in there and understand their learning style to make sure they reach them.
Jose, is it disheartening, though, that the classroom has become a political battlefield?
Well, you know what, generalizations are very difficult. And I believe that if we develop and we provide the adequate training to teachers, I think they can deliver in a very good way. We have, more than ever now, create a very cultures in schools that are very supportive of teachers, that are very understanding of the role that they play. And so that's what we've been trying to do in Dade, not only this year, but throughout the years, right? The teaching and learning conditions have to be one where the teacher feels supported. There's curriculum and there's standards that have to be delivered. But that does not necessarily mean that the classroom has to be politicized. I'm careful with that word. Mm-hmm. And as a superintendent...
do you think the classroom has, though, become politicized? I mean, it's based on what the public is reading, what we see coming out of Tallahassee, do you not think that the classroom is now a political battlefield? It may not be for the teacher sitting in that classroom with the students, but the entire conversation that we're having in Florida, that the rest of the country is having about Florida, is about the politics that are entering the classroom. Do you not agree that politics have entered the classroom?
Politics are part of always the equation. I think now more than ever, it is part of the equation.
How do teachers deal with that?
So I'm trying to understand your previous question and thinking about it. And, you know, I'm old enough to remember, you know, Kent State. I'm old enough to remember Ronald Reagan walking on the campus at University of California and getting beat up for, verbally beat up for what his politics were. I think educational systems are an easy target to place politics. It's also a big win or a big loss. So we always understand as educators, and I've been doing this 29 years and on to my 30, it's what you let in is what makes it political. We try and stand and stay the line of these are the standards, this is what we're teaching, and this is what we're going to be teaching. The periphery, there is noise out there in the periphery, but as educators, we always have the ability to let in or not let in. And you know, educational institutions have always been a political hotspot over the history, so it's not nothing. It's not new.
You don't think it's different now? You don't think that it's more intense right now?
I don't hear people saying that in the classroom that they're teaching politics. I read the newspaper. I hear the news.
No. Let me make sure I'm clear. I'm not suggesting that teachers are politicizing what's being taught in classrooms. I'm saying the politicians have now made what takes place inside the classroom the subject of political fights, and that does have an impact inside the teachers' heads. The question that I got more, or the question that more teachers have asked me to ask the two of you, consistently comes down to one thing. Will you be there and have their backs
We teach the standards, and we stick with the standards. And we make sure we protect teachers by letting them know that if you're staying with the standards and they're allowed, we will protect you at all costs. Go ahead, sir.
Same thing, absolutely. We have to support teachers, okay? We know what we're dealing with. Our teachers are doing a phenomenal job in educating our students. The time now has come where I use this concept, a thought partner, right? You cannot think that you're a teacher, you're gonna go solo in your classroom. You have to be part of a larger group of your professionals, of your colleagues within a school, because as issues do arise, and they will, because of this new landscape, we have to work together and we have to solve problems together.
You both have used the same phrase, we will teach you the standards. And I hear that, and I think teachers are going to hear that, and the public, some people in the public are going to hear that to mean we're going to teach, even if we're going to hold you to this standard, even though that there are those who believe that that standard is actually politicized, whether it's the notion that aspects of slavery benefited certain skill levels of African Americans, that's in the standard. The fact that in Ocoee and Rosewood there was political violence committed not just against blacks but by blacks, that's in the standard. If teachers feel as if that's inappropriate to teach, if teachers question whether or not that really does provide the proper context for African American history, and they decline to teach it that way, are they going to lose their jobs?
So we're developing a clearinghouse in Broward where we are able to ask the teachers to send any material that they feel is appropriate for their subject matter to meet the standards, because some have a great degree of being able to bring in other pieces into their classroom to really meet the standard or drive home a point. We're going to be able to have them submit if they'd like for us to review and go over and then send back and say, teach this, this is great, this is within the standard. If it's way outside the standard, it's not something that's part of what's tested, we'll probably stop and say, you might want to trim this back a little bit, but we're going to protect you. If we send it back down and say, this is great, this is exactly what we want to hear, this aligns with what the standards are being taught, more power to you, let's use it at other places. But if it's not, we're going to probably back off on it. If you're asking us to teach something beyond the standards or something outside of that, I don't think you'll ever get an answer because that's not appropriate for us. We teach what we're committed to, that's tested upon, moving forward.
Let me ask this question. Let's get some specifics. AP Psychology, right? So there's been a lot of back and forth as to whether or not AP Psychology should be allowed to be taught. The Commissioner of Education finally backed away and said it can be taught as long as it's age appropriate. Can a sophomore take it? Because a sophomore can take AP classes.
Yes, sir.
Right? So
yes.
Can a sophomore take an AP Psychology course that includes discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity?
Yes, so the class
but you had to hesitate, right?
So the class is available. The class will be offered as it's been constructed with all the topics and the content of the course. We have extremely talented AP Psychology teachers. They've been teaching them for years. And it's not a course that is so prescriptive in nature that you cannot bring in other resources to teach it well.
We're asking each parent to sign a waiver to get in because some sophomores are age appropriate, very mature. Certainly not sure about freshmen, but if a parent sees it and sees the curriculum online, which they can see online in Dade schools as well, and object to whatever's in there, because there's a lot more than just 6.7, there's a lot of deep subjects, they can say, I choose not to have my child in that classroom. So now the parent's involved, the teacher knows their guardrails, we're meeting AP standards, principal's happy, teacher's happy, students happy, parents happy.
Do you hate the fact that we're having these conversations, that we're having to have the discussion as to where the political lines are on a course?
I never have a problem defending a parent's right to look into what the curriculum is for their schooling of their child. The more involved parent we have, the better success of a child. Now, that's what I've always known to be as a leader. I'm sure he will back me up on this one. When you have a parent involved in that academics of that curriculum and the teachers involved and the communication is going really well, you're going to see a successful child 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10.
Like Peter says, again, we can work through a lot of things. Again, teaching is not a solo act. We have to work together as a team to resolve issues that they come up. But to your first question, right? It is unfortunate that we're having so much narrative around some of these topics.
Do you think the problem is the media? I'm perfectly willing to accept that I'm the problem, but do you think that this is just a creation as opposed to a reality that's taking place?
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I mean, everyone has a say in all of these matters. We as superintendents, we have to make sure that we keep our eye on the instruction, on the education, on the support and development of the teachers. Our ability to not engage in a lot of the narrative that goes on is important so that we can stay on track in terms of what we need to do to, like you're saying, support the teachers, make sure that we have strong leaders providing solutions and working with the teachers adequately.
When we come back, more from the superintendents, and we'll also hear from teachers about what worries them. Stay with us. Welcome back to this special one-hour edition of Facing South Florida and our discussion with Miami-Dade School Superintendent Jose Dotres and Broward Superintendent Peter Licata. Before we dive back into it, I wanted to get a little perspective about what worries teachers at the start of the school year. So I spoke to Anna Fusco, the president of the Broward Teachers Union, and Carla Hernandez-Matz, the president of the United Teachers of Dade.
You know, they're decorating their classrooms, they're getting the new resources, they're getting whatever new curriculum is hit. You know, they're trying to learn and understand the new standards, the new laws that come into place. And, you know, they're kind of in a whirlwind, but at the end of the day, they want to show up, they want to teach, they want to follow the standards, they want to teach content and curriculum and just have a great time with their students like they always do. And they have great relationships with their parents. Again, this small minority that wants to spew anti-LGBTQT, they want to spew African-American studies, they want to, spew only their parental rights. They just need to stop and just have faith and trust in the public school system.
Teachers want to be able to teach, and they want to be able to teach their students so that their students have the freedom to learn. And I think that's what's at play right now in this school year.
Carla, how difficult is it to be a superintendent in this day and age in Florida?
It's probably the most critical and hardest time to be a superintendent, but it's not as hard as being an educator and being on the front line. I mean, we are getting it where there's a chilling effect. Teachers don't feel secure in what it is that we should be teaching with our history, and we're experts. We've always known how to be age appropriate and curate our material. And so when teachers' jobs are on the line, when there's so many culture war attacks, it's creating this self-inflicted wound where there's a massive teacher shortage. And so I think those numbers speak for themselves. It's hard. But there are no superintendent vacancies. There are thousands of teacher vacancies because teaching is really difficult in this day and age in the state of Florida.
Do you think the politics entering the classroom more and more is one of the reasons why teachers are leaving the profession and why there's a shortage?
When teachers are not allowed to teach with the pedagogy that they've been trained in and teach with authenticity, when you're changing the standards to teach things that are not true and inserting resources that are indoctrinating children, these things leave a moral dent in the teacher's soul. And so teachers, are going to do what they know what to do, which is teach. And when you put those contradictory things in front of an educator and they don't feel like they are supported and that they are able to do what they've been trained to do, they just leave the school system.
It is exactly why teachers are not staying in the profession and why they're not getting in the profession. People get into a career because they want to do the job. They don't want politics and religion and other entities involved in it. Just let me do my job, get it done, and serve the people that we're here to do a job for.
We hope that all the parents that are out there watching this, that in the first day of school, you tell your teachers that you support them and that you want them to teach their children with authenticity. Because we as parents, as educators, also have rights. And we want to make sure that teachers feel supported by the community, by parents, and of course by our superintendents and leaders as well. So make sure your teachers know that they are supported and that they should be teaching the truth.
Would you want to be a teacher coming into the profession today, given everything that's going on right now?
100% yes. I did it years ago. And now I can tell you that, yes, I, as a superintendent, go out and recruit teachers. And if you look at our talent pool right now is basically 60-40. 60% of the folks that we're hiring are non-traditional teachers. What that means is they're new to the profession. I was a career changer. I had a public administration degree, I entered education, I've never left it because of teaching. And I believe that as a superintendent, our recruiters, we have a wonderful opportunity to really hire folks that can grow in our organization.
I can answer that question easily. My youngest is in school right now. If she's not in labor, because she's going to be delivering our third grandchild in the next few days, to be a teacher. She wanted to be a nurse. She found out that was not where she wanted to be. She loved AP Psych. She passed that class. She loved AP American Government, and that's why she wants to be a teacher. And I was a teacher. Mother was a teacher. Her grandfather, her uncles are all teachers. We are a teaching family. So yes, I can answer that question, yes.
When you were a teacher, you ever have a student come to you and say they were gay?
Just one, more than one. Wasn't a problem. I didn't address it. I made sure that they were supported. I have a slogan, and I use it all the time. When a child walks through the door, that child counts as one, regardless of what they look like, where they come from, what religion they are, and I educate them and support them however I can to make sure they're successful.
What happens in that scenario if a student comes to a teacher and says, I think I'm gay, I think I'm trans, I think I'm non-binary, and I don't really want to talk to my parents about it. Can you help me, Mr. Dotres?
Sure. So the state, the law, or the standards right now are about instruction and content. So if a student is dealing with something as sensitive or concerning as that, here we go again, right? The teacher knows, the teacher has a counselor, has individuals that they can refer the student to, so that that child is supported. That child, we work with them, right? We protect, we safeguard, we love, and we're going to take care of our kids. The new standards that have been placed by the state are about instruction and content. That will not keep us from making sure that the students have the resources that they need, families are involved, and resources are available to them.
I've interviewed the chairman of the Florida Republican Party on numerous occasions when he says he believes the goal and the concept of teachers more and more is to sexualize students. It's the sexualization of our children. That's what's taking place in schools, that's what they're fighting against. When you hear folks talking about the sexualization of children through the school system, how do you react to that?
How many years did that person teach? We're educators. Just because I've been in a courtroom doesn't make me a judge. We're educators, and everyone can have their open perceptions on things, but at the end of the day, we're on the ground floor. Our teachers are on the front line, as well as our principals and APs and our nurses and our cafeteria staff and our bus drivers, and they're the ones that are around children the most. So I think maybe we should ask them how they feel about that, because that's tough to say, because I don't see it happening in schools. I've been around 29 years, and I don't see that happening in schools.
One of the things that the state of Florida has now approved for use in classrooms are a series of videos from Prager University. You've seen these videos, correct?
We don't use Prager and Broward. I'm pretty
We don't
sure
use
Dade.
No, just I think Broward and Dade, we're pretty much.
We've announced
in the
we
same,
don't.
Yeah, we're not using those materials.
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear about that. Is it a matter of you don't currently use them, or is a teacher allowed to use them? If an individual teacher wants to start using it in the classroom, is there a prohibition in Miami-Dade and Broward against using those videos?
We're not supporting Prager in any way.
I'm hearing from teachers that they're scared about what this school year is going to be like. That there is, do you not understand, do you not recognize that there is legitimate fear by teachers who are walking into classrooms and not sure how they are supposed to do their jobs, and that the political nature of what Florida has become isn't going to end up costing them their job at some point?
Yeah, that's always a reality. We want to make.
Wait, no, that's not always a reality.
You asked me a question. You want me to answer it?
Really, you think this is what we're experiencing right now is no different than what happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago? You see no difference in what's taking place in Florida classrooms today versus 10 years ago.
So we're not blind to it. We're not deaf to it. We know what you're saying. But at the end of the day, we also know that if teachers fearing for that, they can come to us. They can come to their administrator and say, hey, I'm a little worried about this section. What do you think? And we'll certainly step in and help them. We want to protect our teachers. But that fear, it's real. They have it. If they're saying it's real, but I think we're going to protect them quite well, making sure they stay within the guardrails and making sure that they're hitting these standards.
Perception is very important. If that's what they're perceiving, that's what they're feeling. Absolutely. And we are dealing with some new state statutes that we have not been used to. right? So we have to adapt. We have to work with our teachers, make sure that they're supported, that they understand what the standards are. But absolutely, things are changing, right? And they are, and perception is reality. But we are here, school leaders are here in their schools to create a culture of support for teachers and make sure that they are very well aware of the guardrails or what the standards are. It requires a lot more awareness, a lot more communication.
Coming up, we'll talk about book bans and we'll hear from the presidents of the PTAs in Dade and Broward. Stay with us.